Alright, we're starting. I'm going to turn on preview mode so I can see. Also, my phone is probably...
Oh, wait, I haven't been down.
He forgets he's tall. He forgets. It's magical.
I know, it's wonderful, isn't it, honey?
It's my house. Why am I getting up?
Go.
Okay, so we have some questions here for a Q&A video that originally I actually technically recorded on my own, but I was like, you know what? I'm bored. Let's have my best friend come in one day. And finally, we have the opportunity to. So, these are the questions.
I need my...
Okay, this is... We were not prepared for this. This is...
Call me Cusco.
He's either going to be Cusco, he's Reptile, he's also Shadow Hunter if you know him by those many names. But he's also my best friend, and we've known each other since preschool. And I've been best friends with him and his brother since... Well, his brother since kindergarten, but best friends with him since preschool. And
Yep.
we grew up together, and we share each other's stories and secrets and everything else in between. Don't look at me like that. Alright, so first question, if you'll read it, please.
This one's by Caden Nations. I didn't get... Can I do it like in a very, like...
Do it as you will. We don't...
Caden Nation said, "What is your motivation to make videos?"
Well, that's a good question because I don't have any. My motivation to make videos is I watch someone else make a video and I get inspired because I'm like, I want to be like them, and then it turns out to be nothing like theirs, and I'm like, okay. But honestly, inspiration just whenever I'm bored, I play a game and I record it. And I get motivation to make the videos by watching other people make videos or whenever I want to make people smile. Because literally, for my videos, my goal is to make anyone who watches them smile and shake their head. Just like a dad joke. That is my videos. That's the definition of dirt for my dirt moments. But good question. I don't really have motivation outside of just, I'm bored. Next question is from my buddy, it says Escanor, but it's actually my buddy Warrior, if you've known him on my channel. Pineapples on pizza, what is your take? I like pineapples on pizza, but I prefer it, one, if it has only mozzarella cheese. I like mozzarella cheese, but I don't like Kobe Jack, and pineapple don't really go together that well.
I feel that.
Cheddar and pineapple, not for me. I like mozzarella cheese a lot, though, especially on pineapple on pizza. But I love pineapple on pizza the most if I'm eating a barbecue pizza. Like a barbecue chicken pizza with pineapple is the bomb for me.
It's May, and her question shall be, what is your dream job, or the job you are aiming for?
And also, how long do I want to do YouTube?
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah. So, my dream job, I think I've talked about it with you before, is like anyone, I do want to do YouTube for like as long as I possibly can. If not, I would like to do it on a separate service, kind of like how VidMe was when it was around. I loved VidMe, and it really launched my channel back in the day. What is my dream job, or the job I'm aiming for? I want to shoot for doing 3D printing as a service or whatever, or maybe video editing. But what my dream job is to be a theology teacher for a college or a high school. I love theology. It is something I talk about a lot, and it's one of my personal studies. And part of it is because I am a considerably religious person. I don't really like that term. But I love talking about theology. I love talking about the Bible and how it is a great narrative and stuff. That's actually how I've started referring to it recently, is the grand narrative. Because it has such a vast narrative that people don't realize, because they talk about fairy stories, and you talk about fairy tales and fables and stuff like that, right? When you look at the Bible, it's essentially the same thing. You have a creator, or who also puts himself on earth as a king. And his creation goes awry when he invents this creature that's supposed to be for good, who runs away and turns evil and turns into a beast. Then he sends his son, a prince, in knight in shining armor, to go and slay the beast. The hero is slain and comes back to life. And he's to save his creation and his people, he's going to send the hero once again to slay the beast once and for all, and everyone lives happily ever after. It's literally a fairy tale. It is literally a fairy tale, but it's like the greatest one because it's got such poetry and like lament and love and power behind it that people don't look at it in that way anymore. I look at it that way because it's just a narrative in its own right. Each book is one big narrative. And I love that. And you know, even if you aren't religious, you aren't Christian, you aren't Jewish, you aren't Messianic, you aren't a believer in any sort of deity, I just like looking at it like that, whether it's in any theological sense of anything at all. It's just so interesting. I like looking at other religions too, just seeing what they believe and how it's played out for them as well. But to be my dream job, being a theology teacher, that would be amazing and a blessing. But anywho, next question.
Can you say yeet? Yeet!
He's having a temper tantrum. He's having a little tantrum.
Are we sure that's not alcohol?
Don't worry, it's not.
Is water wet? There's only one true answer! Yes. Next question.
We're not gonna go by that. I don't.
Get out. Get out.
Oh, get out! How dare you! Short people!
I think you mean fat people at this point. I'm 210, man. He tried to get behind me, but I'm just my chair.
What's your favorite book in the Bible? Is my question.
That is a very good question that I technically don't have an answer for. I can tell you what my 2 favorite verses are, but I can't tell you my favorite book because I don't have a favorite book. My 2 favorite verses are Jeremiah 29:11, which I actually have on a plaque right over there. Is "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to I don't know. I believe it was give you hope and a future." I can't read it very well. And the other one is Matthew 29. It might be Matthew 29:11. I can't remember. Or it might be Matthew 19:27. I can't remember. But it's that with God all things are possible. Those 2 are my favorite verses. I don't have a favorite book. I see the Bible as one book, the grand narrative. So that's about it. What's your favorite book?
I don't really have a favorite book. Like,
I don't think there is really an easy way to say you have a favorite book anymore. Especially not with the Bible. Like, I can say I have a favorite book about literally anything else. No, I can't. I don't even have a favorite book. I just like books. But,
I thought they're all even in their own way.
Exactly. They're all
just
unique. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I believe it had to be the chicken. Based off the book of Genesis, all creatures were created at the same time. It's probably the chicken. But if you want to get technical with it, go with whatever. I'm just going to go vote for the chicken. God didn't make Adam a baby first, as far as I'm concerned.
That makes sense.
So, because then it was telling the chick, you can't tell an egg, be fruitful and multiply. And the egg's like,
Yeah, fam.
I'm kind of stuck.
Don't worry, guy. Let me get out of my situation.
This one has several questions. What are some of your favorite pickup lines, and what pickup line would you want to use if you had to use one? Oh boy. Well, for one, I don't like pickup lines. I love dad jokes. I like pickup lines that are dad jokes. I'm not someone who would use a pickup line on a female. You know what I would use, though, and I'll tell you my favorite pickup line is... Pardon me, I'm going to scooch past you. My favorite pickup line is this right here. Hey, little girl, did you fall from heaven? Because you look like you hit every step on the way down.
Ow.
I love that! I'm sorry, that is my favorite pickup line. Had being the definition of, I had no other choice. If I had to use one, that's the one I would go with. I wouldn't go with anything else. What about you? What's your favorite pickup line? You red-faced boy. Your face is really red right now.
I don't really use pickup lines or anything because
This face right here is a pickup line.
Yeah, that's right.
Stop saying I'm ugly!
I was called a simp whenever I told everyone I got my my code for Valorant from Pokemon Stream, so I automatically became a simp all of a sudden. I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't know why, but I don't really care.
What you do, kind of like a, you know.
I just chill.
Yeah, it's like kind of like an air quote, a non.
I'm asexual. That's kind of what I tell people these days, is I just don't care. I'm sorry, I'm not looking for anybody. I just don't see the point anymore. The definition of dating used to be a good thing. I used to, take your girl out to date. You know, that's dating. That was fine. But dating around is what it's more defined as nowadays. And that I'm not cool with. I'm not going to go look for something. I'm not interested. Because I haven't really met any females that, you know, believe they're close to what I do yet and are, you know, available or interested. That's just, I'm not interested in myself either. I'm perfectly happy where I am at.
Plans on recording Switch games.
I don't have a Switch. I probably Breath of the Wild before on stream, and someone, I guess they may have thought I had a Switch. It was the Wii U version emulator for my computer. That's all that was. The glug I hear every time from that. But that's just an emulator. Do I have a Switch? No. Would I want a Switch? Yes, but it's too expensive right now because the demonetized virus. Anyways, it took you a minute to get that?
Yes! But you have a lot of questions.
Yeah, can you not? I'm just kidding. Who's Sarsaparilla? Where did you get this? Sleep Sarsaparilla.
I mean, okay, how I got there was because I was taking my brother's shift for tomorrow, so.
It's a grand
So he
root beers.
He bribed me.
Sarsaparilla.
My brother bribed me. He's like, if you take my shift tomorrow, I'll give you a bunch of drinks. I'm like, that would be nice.
He got Sarsaparilla. I'm just kidding. Sarsaparilla's good. Just depends.
I like sarsaparilla.
I like different brands.
You will like sarsaparilla!
You didn't let me finish.
What's your gaming setup?
Well, I'll put a picture up. There's my gaming setup. I hope you like it. And I also am getting some LEDs back here eventually to light up this background scene where I'm going to have some old school gaming setups done right here.
I love this next question. Do you watch any anime?
Yes, and I do love anime. I do like certain ones. Some I don't like. One I do like that's definitely one of the most tame animes I've seen in a long time is Castletown Dandelion is very good. It's definitely something tame. I think my favorite anime movie I've watched is A Silent Voice. That anime movie is fantastic to where it's like, forget the anime of it, and it's still just as good because it's fantastic how they played out everything, especially as an introvert, how they played the voice and how it affects people, and it was a great movie. I also watched Seven Deadly Sins. Well, I kind of stopped after season 3 because the animation was terrible. I like the manga though. I'll read the manga version, and anything comes from Zaki-san. He was really good at making the manga come out like a episode, you know? I don't like the animation they used further on.
She changed anything. What environment did you grow up in?
Oh, that's actually a very good question. That's one of the best reasons why he's here. And the last question, which will be on Twitter shortly, is the environment I grew up in was if you're talking about the environment as in the outdoors and where I lived, it's a southern environment, definitely out in the sticks, But instead, it's one of the things we talked about is instead of saying we're country folk or city folk or anything like that, we're gas station folk. We have a gas station and a Dollar General. I have 2 gas stations and a Dollar General. We are gas station folk.
Like you do. I live in the middle of nowhere. Well, I did, but you know.
You did, but now you're 5 minutes away from me, which is awesome.
Crispy.
Anyways. I grew up in a southern environment. We're definitely a lot of southern food, a lot of southern people. The actual town itself, as long as you're not in downtown, it's all right. Definitely it's a small town, but not the nicest town. I'll say it that much. And people here, growing up, there were very few nice people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people were uptight, but not in a bad way. It's just
they weren't like snooty or
hard.
nothing.
It wasn't snooty. A lot of it was just people were hard people. You know,
because
when people would say I'm hard, basically everyone was basically saying they don't put up with it.
Because everyone's been kind of growing a little bit rough around here.
Yeah, it's a rough, tough place, which is honestly hard to say whenever you're like people like you and me grew up. Not one of the things I make sure I say is I'm not boasting. I don't like boasting, but I grew up trying to be one of the nicer of those people. I'm definitely rough whenever it comes down to certain things. When I know I have to act rough, but I'm very much a dang teddy bear with spikes. That's what I am. I got a teddy bear with nails sticking out. Or no, I'm a teddy bear made of sandpaper.
I'm too much of a teddy bear. I'm not very rough or nothing like that. That's my only problem.
Yeah, like you do put up a fight when you need to, though. Like one time we were talking about how I was bullied by one kid, and you straight up stopped being friends with him. Which was really nice, because back then I was like, that's my best friend!
Oh, I beat him down one time.
That's my best friend! He's my best friend! Yeah.
But that's the only thing I would put up, is if, like, my family and friends. That's it.
Yeah. He's, it's mostly the environment. We grew up where it's tough. It's not like Chicago, but, like, it's tough, you know?
We're a bunch of ghetto rednecks, basically.
Yeah, that's an accurate thing to say. But that left me with my mom being a single mom. And it was hard because she had to work a lot, and I ended up having to go to public school. But what was nice was we lived with my grandparents in their house, and they took care of us, and my little brother as well. And it was all right, you know, living there. It was just really rough as far as, you know, what we could handle. And I didn't understand a lot back then, but once I was able to, I did. She met somebody who became my stepdad, and he was all right at first. But then, you know, he moved in and he went overseas for a while and came back, and he was not the same. PTSD hit him like a truck after he served or whatever. And he definitely got very, 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 very abusive in multiple ways. And he really damaged my life a lot. And even Reptile here can vouch. And he knows. He knows what me and my family have been through. But also, the sacrifice was made, and my mom divorced him, and later on he ended up passing away. And it put us back into the position of her being a single mom, and she tried dating a few guys, but eventually my mom finally met somebody who was right. I didn't accept him at first because of all past incidents. I was like, this one's good. How is that possible? Doesn't make sense. He's up to no good. And instead, for now at least, he's turned out all right, and she's happy, and we're pretty happy. And I've had the chains lifted off me a bit. And other than that, it wasn't the easiest, but I grew up knowing that life shouldn't be this crap for anybody else, so I should just try and make people smile the best way I can, being awkward and silly as much as I am. I would just bin myself on the internet, and that's like why I do YouTube, for example. Piggyback me. Next question is from Charlie the Fancy Moose.
Fancy. Alright, okay, anywho, from Charlie the Fancy Moose. What year would you hope to retire?
That depends if you're saying from YouTube, hopefully never. Like when I'm 80 and dying. Or 120 and dying. Preferably 120, though 80 doesn't sound that bad depending on how crap the world is. As far as the actual job, in 3 days. Everyone hopes to retire soon. Next question, because that one was really easy and there's no real way for me to answer that other than just I never want to from YouTube. I want to early from work. Drewmon.
Let's see.
Do you still have that beard? Boy. Yes, I do. For those who don't know. But Drewmon, you and me talked the other day. That's his brother. They're brothers. But not from another mother. That's my line. I'm the littlest one.
Yeah, I'm the middle. And the biggest.
You're the middle child. Aren't you? You're still the middle child.
I know!
You're still the middle
I'm the middle child no matter what.
There's no escape, but you're the tallest. So.
Yeah, the tallest, most good-looking one.
That last part of the question. But, okay.
I'll slap you.
You would do it anyway. The next question is from Charlie, the Fancy Moose, once again, which is actually something my buddy Lucky answered for him later. How long do you have to be a member of the Souls to get mod?
Good
member
question.
of the Soul Gathering. The Soul Gathering is my Discord server, and the Soul Gathering mods are just people I trust the most on the server. And the friends are different from the mods. The friends are people that I know in real life and stuff like that. We're literally best friends. But the mods are just people who have helped me out on Discord for so long and been there for me and helped me out with stuff, and I trust them and I know I can trust them. That's who they are. And they are my mods, you know? They're outstanding and extremely helpful. It's not a matter of time, it's just a matter of trust. And, love and based on heart, you know? All you're missing out on as far as the actual server is just, the mod chat, which is just a private area where me and them talk. It's not too much, but it's definitely it's just a title. Doesn't change your role, really. But the last question was from Gamer Guy, and he asked me, have you ever thought about making your own original content, movies, comics, etc.? And me and you can both vouch for this. That's a hell yeah.
Oh, that's
a oh yeah.
Oh, there's never been a doubt about that.
We have always talked about making our own movies and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, that was, again, 4 years old, 4 or 5. I told my mom that whenever I was in church and stuff, I'd be sitting there next to the window. I'd run my fingers along the windowsill and I'd be imagining something happening. I would tell my mom I had movies in my head. That's just how I told her. I didn't know what an imagination really was. I knew I heard about use your imagination and stuff like that, but I didn't understand what it meant and stuff. So I would say I had movies in my head. And then growing up with him, we always talked about our fantasy stories and coming up with stories.
That was one of our main things.
We literally would walk around for 4 hours in a day just talking and using our imagination and hanging out.
Heck, I remember sometimes we used to talk on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
And we would spend an average of 2 to 4 hours almost every day on the phone, just coming up with movie ideas, scene by scene, or even comic book stories. You just name it. It's just whatever story we had in our brains, we just let it out with each other.
Exactly. We came up with, and that's part of where my name, on my Shadow Rat name, came out on YouTube.
And he's the one who thought of it.
Yeah. Part of it came from that. And you actually, if you notice on Steam, I'm still part of the group, is Shadow Brothers Gaming. Came from the storyline, and it's kind of stemmed from us coming up with character names where it was Shadow Hunter, Shadow Master, and Shadow Rat, Shadow Bat, and a couple others. Those were us just coming up with our stories, and we'd be messing around and stuff. And I used that name when I made my first YouTube channel, and the same one with the second one, and then that delved into being SkywardSole or something a bit more uplifting and stuff. But I still consider myself Shadow Rat. It was something we used to, because I think at first it was the name I used on Xbox when we played Halo and stuff.
Yeah. It was Shadow Grunt, I think.
Yeah, it was Shadow Grunt at first, and then Destin liked Grunt, and my little brother liked the word Grunt, and he became Shadow Grunt, and I took on the name Shadow Rat. And then we became the Shadow Brothers and Shadow Brothers Gaming, and we literally wrote our stories on there. I remember started the first chapter, which is our little introductory prologue prelude.
Which was very well written.
Thank you. It was honestly looking back on it, I like cringe at some of my older stuff. That's
we always like any.
I think any creator really
Look,
does
like
that.
okay, any like your story creators, you can say the same thing. Like anything you read back or whatever you made back, like I don't know, like a year or two back.
Mm-hmm.
I say back way too much. Just a year or two ago, you're gonna cringe over. I don't know if some of you others probably have, but I know I have with a lot of grammar errors and just I don't know. I cringed a lot over like old creations and.
I know we wanted.
Yeah,
we wanted to make our thing a fantasy thing, and I started the first chapter, and we kind of delved off of it, and then eventually I got too stuck in YouTube and work, and like housework and stuff like that to keep writing more chapters. So you took it over from there, and it just stemmed off to where you then, because we came up with the Protectors series as well. That was a thing. Though me personally, I was like, it came so quick though.
Yes, that was probably one of our first stories we thought of together.
Yeah, the Protectors we thought of first, but the Shadow Brothers was more well written.
That was the first that was written down. Mm-hmm. But the oldest one that's been thought of is the Protectors.
Yeah, and those who don't know the Protectors, that was characters where he came up with Reptile, and I came
Still
up
my
with.
boy.
Originally, his name was Bandit, but then it changed him to Paladin.
Yeah, we changed we changed that character to Paladin, and then mine was like Reptile, and we had a guy named Mastermind who was kind of like a Jean Grey, like a Jean Grey.
Yeah, I was thinking psychokinetic, but
but still, kind of.
Yeah, he was able to move stuff with his mind. My stomach is rumbling like crazy. I just went brrr, and I was like, good God, it sounded like I farted. But we wanted the Shadow Brothers to be a fantasy story thing, and it was a lot of fun to do. And we wanted to make manga out of it, we wanted to make comics out of it, and we wanted to like make movies out of Paladins. Because I would come up with different parts of it, and we saw these in movie time, We would see these in comic book or movie time. And that's just how it played out. We wouldn't really see these in the same written time, just so like we pictured it as cinematic. Just because it was easier to play things out better. But we realized at the same time we weren't going to account for the in-between parts, which took us some time to learn. But yeah, have I thought about making original content all the time? I wanted to make personalized thumbnails and have somebody make thumbnails for me, and I wanted to make comic strips and avatars out of my character, but I never had the artistic ability or the money to even do that. But it is something I've thought of and always wanted. So that's definitely my favorite question because
I think that was probably the best one.
Yeah, that brought back some memories about what we would talk and play together for hours, just us talking. I know for me, like, if I had the time or felt the effort to go and write more, I would. Because on Wattpad, I wrote several stories way back when, and I got started on them, but I wouldn't finish them. And that's kind of how it just went around back and forth. And one of them was the Soul Paladin, which I actually do want to write some more for. Then I started on another one. I can't remember the name for it, but we delved off some characters from it. Like, I think it's Tyran or something like that, who had the power of ice control or something like that, water control, which he was one. And then we had another who was the Shepherds or whatever was one. And there was a couple that we came up with, but they never really went anywhere, and I wasn't able to finish writing. But I do start on them sometimes. I do have ideas that just come up and I would love to do. But all of it just time, work, adoration, and money, really. Sometimes we don't have those, but we'd love to make them happen. But anyways, that's all of the questions. This has been a lot of fun, and thank you for doing this with me.
Anytime.
It was great. But later on, guys, I plan on keeping making content. We are moved, but there's a lot to do during this move. We have a lot of work to do on the house. This is going to have some LED strips and stuff to make it look really good in the back, which I'm looking forward to, and get some, around and stuff so it makes me light up better and stuff like that. But I'm going to trip this place out and make it look good, and this is just going to be the setup for a while. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch y'all later.
Peace.